we've been developing and recording stuff as a duo for about the last 6 months or so. We came together for a festival in Melbourne's inner west called the Big West Festival. There were 4 of us in the group who already knew each other. We were asked to be the backing band for a whole lot of different multicultural acts. And through that, we met Jung, and we also met Ray Pereira, percussionist, and we wrote a piece together for that festival. And we thought it was a good sort of partnership, and so we just decided to keep going. Way Out West is different from other jazz groups for quite a few reasons, but the most obvious one being that the instrumentation is very different. Jung plays dan bao, dan trang, and modified Vietnamese guitar, and Ray Pereira plays a number of percussion instruments from West Africa. We've worked a lot together, actually, and we've rehearsed a lot together, and we've toured a lot. And I think that it was a fairly natural thing in the beginning, but it's really developed. I mean, I think that Jung is very special because he actually really does bridge cultures. So I'm no expert in Vietnamese music, but I can write music for Jung because he understands, he knows how to come to where I'm coming from, because he's also a very fine jazz guitarist.
Grew up in Vietnam. I came here when I was 16. My uncle, in his band, his pop band, he doesn't have a guitar player, Western music. And when he saw me play the Vietnamese modified guitar, he said, he feel like, why don't you try to learn the Western guitar and play pop?
So I just kind of approach it as a sound thing, you know, like I just think about the sounds that Jung makes with his instruments and try to imagine contexts that they would work in. And then he does the hard part.
Vietnamese traditional music is like classical music, but we do improvise on a basic thing, you know, just improvise things similar to jazz, but not as open as jazz, as Western music.
Playing at a festival is a real privilege because you get to play for people who are not necessarily expecting anything in particular, but they're along for the festival ride. So you get people who are very open-minded and who want you to take them somewhere, and that's a great opportunity. And it's very different from playing in a club where people who know your music come to hear you. You know, Way Out West was formed to take inspiration or draw inspiration from the multicultural energy of Melbourne's inner west. And I think, you know, I enjoy it when I feel like we're communicating something like that. Like when people say, oh yeah, that actually really doesn't sound like anything I've heard before, and it does sound like it could only come from a place with that kind of cultural mix, and it is peculiarly Australian. You know, in Footscray you've got lots and lots of Vietnamese people who've been there for a long, long time, so there's a real feeling of Vietnamese culture, and there's a lot of African people too. When we travel overseas, people are surprised, I think, to find that we're not all Anglo-Australian. And, you know, I often get asked questions like, well, where's Ray from? You know, and I say, Melbourne. And where's Jung from? Yeah, Melbourne. There's particularly, you know, certain countries, and they have a very particular image of Australia. And I enjoy it when it feels like we're kind of shaking that preconception up a little bit. And yeah, and I think, you know, music is a good thing, a good vehicle to do that.